Hello, and I found a very strange YouTube channel called Old Minecraft Reuploads. Their description reads, channel to re-upload my old Minecraft videos from 2010/2011. These videos were super strange, which is very, very weird Minecraft anomalies in them. Nothing too weird happens for the first few minutes of the video, so I'm gonna cut when things start getting weird. Here is where some really weird things happen. Right here, as he's going into the mine, it makes a sudden cut, showing him with no items in the pitch black with half a heart. I don't know why this happened, or if he made this cut, or I honestly have no clue what this was, but this is where the really weird thing happens. And then the video ends. So what did we find in this very first video? Well, first of all, we can see that the video cuts to where he's just in the pitch black with no items and half a heart. And then second of all, right before the video ends, we see Steve's legs running towards the camera with running on stone sounds. But things get weirder in part 2. Same thing as before, nothing really weird. So I'm gonna cut to when some weird things happen. Did you see that? No? Okay, let's go back. It was a dark figure standing at the end of the cave. But then, the same player that's been recording all of this footage just continues on exploring the cave like nothing happened. But something must have spooked him, because then when he looked down this hall, he ran over here, and then he saved and quit the game. But hold on, if you go back, did you hear that? A weird breathing noise. And we know this is single player because when he goes to the menu, it doesn't say disconnect, it says save and quit. If this is a server with other players, it would say disconnect rather than save and quit. So we can assume what he saw in the cave must have followed him. Now, let's go to the third video. Next, when he goes into inventory, there is no player model, where his player model should be. And then we see that the player sees a hole. So then he takes a break from building his house and goes over there to see what it is. And things only get weirder from here on out. Then, once he reaches the hole, he pauses his game. And it's super weird because then he just pauses his game. As we can see, it says save and quit. There's that's it. It's not disconnect. So he's in a single player world. And then somehow his fog gets turned down and we see something creeping out. Then he unpaused his game eventually, and I fast forwarded a little bit, and now he is exploring the cave. And somehow there was a perfectly straight tunnel. We can assume whatever we saw creeping out while he had his game paused was also what dug this tunnel. Also, I sped up this footage. It wasn't in the original video. I just felt I would speed it up for you. But then, he reaches the end of the tunnel, and then something runs up behind him and pushes him in. And now, he almost died. He somehow survived the fall, and built back up eventually, and hid inside of his base. And that's the end of the video. This was probably the strangest video yet. First of all, we see that there's a weird creature creeping out, and then second of all, he finds this tunnel, and then third, he gets pushed into the tunnel by something. But then, we move on to part 5. This video shows him going back into the cave where all of the weird stuff had happened in part 4. And since then, the same creature that must have pushed him into the hole was digging out all of these different tunnels and holes going all the way down to what must be the void, because they all look bottomless. It's really weird because there's no mob in the game, obviously, that would be able to dig any of these, let alone mine out blocks, other than the Endermen, though it would have taken millions, if not billions of Endermen to do all of this, and would have taken such a long time. And then, that's where the video ends. Now, he could have possibly just mined out all of this himself, though the date between which of these videos were posted were super close together, so that's pretty unlikely. Then, we can move on to part 6. The video started with him mining, and then all of a sudden, he was transported without any of his items into this weird giant stone cube. As you can see, he looked confused because he was checking his inventory and saw that he had nothing. And then as he walks down the stone hallway, we can see giant wooden fences blocking his way out, going all the way up to the sky. And then the video ends there. And then in the final part, part 7, he is in a new world, seemingly, and is also in version beta rather than alpha. And basically, this entire video isn't that weird, but most of it is just him killing these mobs that he had trapped in this weird obsidian pit. And then fast forward a little bit, and there's a cut showing where he nearly died, and everything around him had died, including all the mobs inside of his obsidian pit. And then, in a panic, he runs away into what seemingly looks like his escape bunker, or something like that. It was this long railroad track with a minecart, and he put them there and quickly jumped in and kept looking back, as if something was chasing him. Then, after a little while of him staying in what seems to be maybe his bunker of sorts, he's just staying there for a while, and then all of a sudden, the exit point gets blocked up by stone. And in a panic, he runs away again, gets in his minecart, and rides away. And then, the video ends. And that was the last video he ever uploaded. But if you look at the very beginning of this video, you can see he was in a chat with someone. It was a conversation between someone named Loa721 and Golden Mario. You can see that Loa says, "What?" Gold Mario says, "The world." Gold Mario again says, "Delete the world. You sent me." Loa says, "Why? Did you find something?" Gold Mario says, "I did. Something is really wrong with it. I'll send you the video later. I'm recording." And then you can see that he was about to send, "Hold on." So now we know the person who's been filming all of these weird anomalies was named Gold Mario. But this world didn't belong to Gold Mario, it belonged to someone named Loa. But yeah, that was all I could figure out with this mystery. It was super weird, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.